Simone Manuel is an absolute stud. She is a two-time Olympic champion and one of the fastest freestyle swimmers the world has ever seen. In this video, we're gonna break down her freestyle technique. I'm also gonna show you some of the dryland exercises she's doing to be so explosive and so fast in the water. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome to MySwimPro, where we help you improve your performance and health both in and out of the water. So make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and let's get right into the analysis. Here we have a beautiful shot underwater of her freestyle technique. We're going to talk about what she's doing well and what she can improve on. Even the best swimmers in the world always have something that they can improve upon and get better. If you can get 1% better every single day, it's going to make a huge difference in the long run. Let's go ahead and pause her stroke right now, and we're going to look at this in super slow motion. Look at that, and we're going to take a look at how she's angling her hand in the water. So one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is that early vertical forearm that she is setting up. Now her arm is straight at this point, and we're going to watch how her arm starts to actually bend, and she's going to position her hand in that early vertical forearm so that way she can propel herself forward and carry as much speed as possible. And the reason why you want this early vertical forearm, EVF, is so you can pull as much water with as much surface area as possible. So I'm going to clear the screen. We're going to play that, and we're going to see that beautiful bend in the elbow. I'm going to have to go ahead and redraw that. And it's absolute work of art. Look at how much water she's pulling with not just her hand. Obviously, her hand is pulling a lot of water, but also the forearm and then the top of the arm. And that's a beautiful catch. Again, that's the early vertical forearm. We have a lot of drills on how you can improve that in the MySwimPro app, so make sure you check those out. Another thing I want us to pay attention to right before she takes the stroke, here it is, another angle of that early vertical forearm. And at this point, the hand is absolutely vertical. I mean, that is a vertical forearm if I ever saw it. It's not only early, but it is very vertical. And then you can see here where the propulsion is coming. But what I actually wanted to do, I wanted to back up just a little bit and take a look at where her head position is. So right now, and remember, the water line is about here. It looks like her eyes are actually pointing forward just a little bit. And ideally, you want to have your eyes looking down at the bottom of the pool, and that way, the water line basically intersects in the middle of your head. So that middle green line is where the top of her cap should be. Half the cap should be below the water, half the cap on top of the water. I believe this is for a video shoot. So, you know, when we watch the competition footage, we actually see her head position is a little bit better than it is here. If you notice with her arm, it is fully extended out in front in line with her shoulder at about 11 and 1 o'clock if you have the arms of a clock representing your hands. So really, really good hand position. But it does look like her eyes are looking a little bit too far forward. They should be looking down. And the reason why you want to make sure you're looking down instead of looking forward is because that'll actually improve that head position, and it'll raise your hips up. Because remember, you want to be occupying as little space as possible in the water. You want to lower your drag profile. Remember, the water is 800 times more resistive than air. So you want to make sure your profile is as small as possible. And I want to get into something else that she does before we get to the next scene and into the dryland stuff that she's doing. She has a little bit of a head bob. Do you see that right there? So right now she's looking forward, and then she actually corrects it as she starts to pull. So it looks like if we were to draw like this whole section of her body actually pivots down at the same time. And that's actually not what it's supposed to do. You want to be, your head should be independent. Do you see that? Her head and her hand are pushing down. Now we see this in her competition stroke as well, actually. And then one more nitpicky thing that we want to point at right here. So if you look at how stretched out this arm is, that's a really good in line with her shoulder. But look at what she's doing with her hand. So her fingertips are actually above her palm, and it really should be the other way around. Really, her hand should be as flat as possible here. And then if anything, to get into that early vertical forearm, the fingertips should be starting to point down. That's how we get into the early vertical forearm. If you look at that, she's actually pushing against the direction that she's trying to go. So she's pushing away. Instead, we're trying to pull the water that way. So just a little nitpicky thing. And again, this is a video shoot, so it's not gonna be perfect. But you know, what you do when you go slow and in practice is something that's gonna manifest itself when you're in competition, you're trying to actually go fast. So let's go ahead and watch this in a competition. I believe this is from a world record setting swim right here. Or not a world record, but like world leading swim. So she's right there. And you can see that early vertical forearm. It's absolutely beautiful. Great hand position that's coming off of her shoulder line. Well, we're not skipping to that yet. Let's look at the racing first. And actually, let's look at this other angle right here. So there she is. And again, she has a great hand position, great body line, keeping a really narrow profile in the water. Let's watch this in slow motion. Really watch how she's pulling the water. Yep, there's the early vertical forearm. You can see that. Her and the swimmer in the lane next to her. Actually, she has a better pull than the swimmer in the lane next to her. Let's go ahead and pause that. So let's compare and contrast. There's the straight arm. So right there, we're about even. And now we're gonna play it and we're gonna look at how they both pull the water at the same time. So it looks like Simone has a slightly better early vertical forearm, pulling more water there. And it looks like we have a dropped elbow actually. Swimmer right over here, that might have been the difference in the Olympic gold medal versus silver. And yeah, it just goes to show how important all these technical details are, even for the best swimmers in the world. So we're gonna watch this. Now, if you remember, we were talking about her head position moving up and down as she takes the strokes. It's a little bit better here at race pace. Her head position is, but she's moving it up and down. As you can see, there is a little bit of a wiggle with the head position. We want to clean that up, and that's a habit that you have in practice. So really important, every detail in practice. Here we go. This is the Dryland. Look at this explosive drill. Boom. Imagine coming off the block in a track start, really get that explosive, fast twitch muscle fibers. Great Dryland drill. Try and mimic that explosiveness. Here it is in slow motion. You can see all the muscle firing, all the power coming off of one foot. Beautiful, beautiful. This is a great drill to do at your house, stuck inside for quarantine, no equipment, no problem. You start out in a nice tuck position, you roll up, really great for flexibility, explosiveness, fast twitch muscles, everything required in that flip turn to come in and out of the wall fast. And obviously, when you're a sprinter, the walls really make a difference because every 100th of a second counts. And there it is. Really great Dryland drill. I got these off of her Instagram account, so make sure you give her a follow on the IG. Here it is in slow motion. Let's watch it together. So you sit down, great flexibility to bend down like that. Then using all your momentum, you crunch up, good flexibility, and then you push off your heels. Look at that altitude. She got some airtime off the ground. That's great. There she is, tucked up in a nice ball. Woo! And explode. There we go. Awesome, awesome. I think I have one more Dryland drill after this one. Yes, I do. It is doing push-ups with a clap. This is the good stuff. You guys know that explosiveness. This is where it is. Boom, look at that. Coming off the ground, every single push-up. This is really explosive. Kids, don't try this at home unless you got that adult supervision. And a lot of power. Here it is in slow motion. You can see the explosiveness. Boom, there's a clap. If you're really skilled, try and do 2 claps. If 1 clap is too easy. Wish you guys the very best and happy swimming.